Vintage Christmas decor has a very endearing quality. It's the kind of holiday magic that combines classic charm, timeless beauty, and comforting nostalgia to feel like a warm hug from the past. Vintage-inspired decoration adds an unparalleled sense of coziness and happiness to the holiday season. Whether it's the gentle glow of vintage string lights, the sheen of mercury glass ornaments, or the aroma of pine combined with recollections of Christmas mornings long past, the timeless appeal of vintage Christmas decor is one of its best features. It is timeless, nostalgic, and very simple to customize to match the style of your house. When you start thinking about vintage Christmas decor, imagine a mix of textures, materials, and colors that feel rich and layered with history. This style is all about capturing the warmth and simplicity of holidays past. Think deep reds, forest greens, creamy whites, and touches of gold or silver that have a slightly worn, aged patina. You don't need everything to match perfectly. Part of the charm of vintage style is the imperfections, the character, and the sense that every item has a story. Whether you're using heirloom decorations passed down from family, treasures found in thrift stores, or new pieces with an old-fashioned look, the goal is to create a space that feels cozy, lived in, and full of personality. The Christmas tree is often where the vintage magic really shines. Start with a traditional green tree, whether real or artificial, that has that lush, full look reminiscent of old-fashioned holiday cards. Decorate it with a mix of ornaments that feel nostalgic. Glass baubles, wooden figurines, and hand-painted ornaments all capture that vintage charm. Mercury glass ornaments in silver, gold, or soft pastels are especially beautiful because they reflect light in a soft, romantic way. Adding strands of tinsel or garland gives your tree that classic sparkle, while vintage-style string lights with warm golden bulbs add the perfect finishing touch. You can even make your own old-school ornaments. Dried orange slices, popcorn garlands, and handmade paper snowflakes bring back that sweet, homemade feel from childhood Christmases. For the color scheme, vintage decor tends to lean into those traditional hues that instantly make you think of the holidays. Deep red and green never go out of style, but you can soften the look by adding cream, gold, or even touches of faded blue. If you love the mid-century vibe, try incorporating retro pastels. Mint green, lush pink, and baby blue can create a nostalgic 1950s-inspired look that's cheerful and fun. Whatever palette you choose, consistency helps everything feel harmonious and thoughtfully designed. The mantel is another area where vintage Christmas decorating really comes to life. It's the heart of the home during the holidays, a place for stockings, garlands, and glowing candles. Start with a base of fresh greenery or faux pine garlands and layer in classic touches like pinnycones, berries, and antique brass candle holders. You can add vintage ornaments along the garland or drape a string of warm white lights for that gentle twinkle. Hanging traditional stockings made of knit or burlap gives the space that cozy, homey vibe. A large antique mirror or an old-fashioned framed Christmas print above the mantel completes the scene, reflecting the glow of the lights and making everything feel even more magical. In the living room, vintage Christmas decor is all about texture and warmth. Swap out your modern pillows and throws for ones that feel a bit more old-fashioned. Think plaid patterns, cable knits, or embroidered details. Drape cozy blankets over chairs and sofas to make the space inviting. On your coffee table, display a few nostalgic pieces like a ceramic Santa, an old toy train, or a small vintage sleigh filled with ornaments. A bowl of shiny glass baubles or a display of old postcards can serve as beautiful conversation pieces that tie the whole room together. Don't be afraid to mix eras. Combining Victorian touches with mid-century accents can create a layered, eclectic look that feels authentic and charming. Lighting plays a big role in setting the vintage mood. Soft, warm lighting makes everything look cozier and more inviting. Avoid bright white LED lights and instead opt for bulbs with a golden glow. Candles, lanterns, and fairy lights add that perfect touch of nostalgia. If you can find vintage candle holders or lanterns, even better. They bring instant character to any space. You can also use vintage glass bottles or mason jars as candle holders for a rustic yet elegant touch. The dining area is another wonderful place to bring in vintage Christmas flair. Start with a simple tablecloth or runner. Something with lace, plaid, or a soft neutral fabric works perfectly. Layer your table with mismatched gold-trimmed plates or dishes featuring classic holiday patterns. For the centerpiece, try a mix of greenery, candles, and vintage glass ornaments. Old silverware, brass candle holders, or a collection of small antique vases filled with winter flowers add a personal and timeless touch. Cloth napkins tied with twine or ribbon make everything feel thoughtfully styled. And don't forget to add a few subtle details like name cards or a scattering of penny cones for that extra charm. The kitchen is another great place to sprinkle in some vintage Christmas cheer. This space often feels the warmest and most lived in, so keeping it simple works best. You could hang a small wreath in the window or add a string of old-fashioned lights across a shelf. Display vintage cookie tins, enamel mugs, or ceramic bowls filled with candy canes. A wooden tray with hot cocoa ingredients or a jar of homemade cookies can make the space feel festive and nostalgic at the same time. If you have open shelves, showcase your favorite vintage dishes or holiday mugs. It's the perfect way to combine practicality with decor. Your entryway sets the tone for your entire home, so a few vintage-inspired touches here can make a big impact. Hang a classic wreath made of pine branches and ribbon on the front door, and consider adding an antique sled or pair of ice skates as decorative accents. Inside, place a small table or bench decorated with a vintage lamp, an old basket filled with ornaments, or even a stack of wrapped gifts in brown paper tied with red or gold ribbons. These little moments of nostalgia welcome guests with warmth and charm. Incorporating natural elements is also a big part of vintage Christmas decorating. Use fresh greenery, penny cones, berries, and dried oranges to bring texture and authenticity to your decor. You can mix these with metallic accents or lace details to create that perfect balance between rustic and refined. The natural elements not only look timeless, but also fill your home with that wonderful pine scent that instantly says Christmas. If you love to craft, vintage Christmas decorating is the perfect opportunity to get creative. Handmade decorations like paper garlands, salt dough ornaments, or ribbon bows can add that personal, homemade charm. Wrapping gifts in brown craft paper and tying them with twine, lace, or velvet ribbon gives a beautiful old-fashioned look that feels both thoughtful and stylish. Adding small touches like wax seals, vintage gift tags, or sprigs of greenery on your presents makes them almost too pretty to open. For those who love collecting, vintage Christmas decor can become a treasure hunt of sorts. You can find incredible pieces at flea markets, thrift stores, or even your grandparents' attic. Look for old ornaments, tin toys, vintage Santa figurines, or holiday postcards. These items tell stories of Christmases long ago and bring authenticity to your decor. Mixing old with new keeps your home from feeling like a museum. Just sprinkle vintage touches throughout your space for that perfect balance. The bedroom is often overlooked during the holidays, but it can be the coziest place to add a touch of vintage Christmas charm. A plaid or quilted blanket, soft flannel sheets, and a few small decorations like a tabletop tree or a garland over the headboard can make the space feel festive and nostalgic. Light a candle with a cinnamon or pine scent and you'll instantly feel wrapped in holiday comfort. What makes vintage Christmas decor so special is the emotion it carries. It's not just about recreating a look. It's about capturing a feeling. The twinkle of old-fashioned lights, the texture of handmade decorations, and the warmth of traditional colors all work together to remind us of simpler times. Even if you didn't grow up surrounded by this kind of decor, there's something universally comforting about it. It taps into that timeless sense of joy, family, and togetherness that the holidays are all about. At the end of the day, vintage Christmas decorating is about creating a space that feels meaningful and full of heart. It's about slowing down, cherishing traditions, and celebrating the beauty of imperfection. Whether you go all out with retro ornaments and antique finds or just add a few nostalgic touches here and there, vintage Christmas decor brings a kind of warmth that modern styles can't always match. It's cozy, soulful, and endlessly charming. As the fire crackles, the lights twinkle softly, and you settle in with a cup of cocoa, your home feels like a scene from an old Christmas card, filled with love, laughter, and memories waiting to be made. That's the magic of vintage Christmas decor. It doesn't just decorate your home, it decorates your heart with the timeless spirit of the season.